It seems quite shocking to claim that the most essential question in philosophy is this one: should we kill ourselves? Should we commit suicide? Is suicide the answer to this absurd life? But the question of suicide, according to Camus, is an essential human problem that stems from the absurdity of life. And there are many things we may call absurd. For example, we may call certain fashion absurd. We call certain statements absurd. And we could refer to the fact that penguins cannot taste fish is absurd too. But this is not what Camus meant by absurd. What he means is that there is a combination of two things within us that contradict each other, and that is the way we want the world to be and the way the world actually is. The world in our minds do not always, if ever, line up with the world we are actually in. In our minds, we want the world to be full of justice and love, full of peace and understanding, and we want good things to happen to good people, not bad things. We want to understand why all of these things occur. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why do wars occur? Why are some humans so evil? Why do people put their whole life on the edge for some dream that results in the deaths of 1,000,000 people? Why the hell are we here? Where are we going? And what does this all mean? It's absurd. Everything seems absurd when you think in this manner, right? But the reality of the world is this: evil can go unpunished. Good people do have bad things happen to them. People do die because of dreams made by evil people. And the world is not all sunshines and rainbows. And most of all, we really cannot understand what we want to understand. This doctrine of absurdism, in the metaphysical sense, is a conflict between the human mind and a universe different to it. On one side, there is a mind that desires, and on the other, there is a world that disappoints. And then in the sense of human knowledge, this absurdism, this feeling of an absurd existence, gives light to our desires to understand it all, and it also highlights the fundamental limits of our own knowledge. Now, having pinpointed this important problem that humans face, the problem of suicide, Camus moves on to determine whether or not we should live, and if so, how should we live in the face of this absurdity. Camus was against the claims that many thinkers made, that in order to overcome the absurd, you had to appeal to God or some transcendent thing. But Camus claims that these thinkers actually contradict themselves because they say that life is absurd, yet they offer a solution to the absurd. So having a solution means that life is not inherently absurd at all. And Camus denies such claims because the absurd represents a human condition that is not escapable. In Greek mythology, we have this legend called Sisyphus, who was punished by the gods to a very meaningless task of rolling a freaking huge rock up a mountain, and then told that when he reached the top, he should watch the rock roll back down and then repeat that task again forever, non-stop. Just roll a damn rock up for your whole life, for your whole never-ending existence. And this story is a representation of our mundane and trivial labor. The existence of Sisyphus illustrates the pointlessness and absolute absurdity in our own lives. Camus knows that our lives can become a mundane thing, or as he says, rising streetcar, 4 hours in the office or the factory, meal, streetcar, 4 hours of work, meal, sleep, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, according to the same rhythm. But according to Camus, we should not be upset for Mr. Sisyphus, because that is the absurd hero. He chooses to live in the face of absurdity. He finds joy in existing. Over time, his muscles will become stronger. Over time, the weight of the rock will become easier to push. Over time, the movement becomes an art. And over time, he becomes more accepting of this mundane nature of life. Sisyphus uses his freedom to rebel against the gods, and he refuses the pointlessness of their punishment by consciously living with passion, by being aware of the state of life, by accepting that life is what it is, and not what he thinks it is. Sisyphus uses all that is given to him. So what is the answer to suicide according to Camus? It is that no, we should not commit suicide. Instead, we should stand in the face of absurdity, and we should not give ourselves to this false hope. In fact, he suggests that life is better lived if it has no meaning. It is our choice to live our lives with passion, with freedom, and to rebel. We should embrace this absurdity. Why? So we can put ourselves out there in the world with a desire to use all that is given and available. The point to it all is to live. Thank you.